CitrusTV News live at 6. The Chancellor responds to the general body's requests for the last time.
And have you noticed prices at the pump are plummeting, but just how long will it last?
And in which state are students borrowing less for college?
Plus the picture of one celebrity that caused quite the fuss.
Good evening. It's 6 o'clock and those snow flurries are still falling out there. I'm telling you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Hunter Saenz.
And I'm Anna Giles. The Chancellor gives his final response to student protesters who have been in Crouse-Hinds for over a week now. That's our top story tonight.
Picture mic. Well, the general body met today for a press release where they gave a response to Chancellor Syverud's email yesterday.
Now, members of the organization remained stern on their decision to continue the sit-in at Crouse-Hinds Hall. Part of the negotiations committee said they believe the email did not address key issues detailed in their 45-page list of demands and grievances. Joining us now is a representative from the general body, Jonathan Schmidt, who is a freshman. Jonathan, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, Jonathan, I want to get your initial reaction. Kent Syverud, the chancellor, gave his final response, what he calls his final response today. What's your initial reaction?
Sure. Well, a common negotiation tactic is to issue a final response to try to force the other party into making concessions. The response that was sent out gives very vague answers to some of the demands. For the entire mental health section, it only gives one very vague response that does not address the specific demands that are included in it. And a lot of the other responses only just say, oh, the work groups from Fast Forward or Express SU will handle it, even though most of those work groups don't have any actual power.
So, Jonathan, what is the general body trying to get out of this?
Well, the general body is a coalition of many different groups that represent mental health, diversity, inclusion, financial transparency. So we do have many different demands, but they are all related somehow. And overall, we're trying to make SU a more inclusive and transparent school that represents all of the students.
All right, well, we'll have to see what the result is. Jonathan, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
The Sexual Violence Focus Group met last night to discuss students' ideas for prevention, education, and advocacy. The role of the work group was to identify gaps in services and look for areas of improvement. The Chancellor's work group on sexual violence ran the meeting. They promised to compile a report by winter break. And the United Way of Syracuse held their crock-pot lunch this afternoon, serving up comfort food favorites like shepherd's pie, steak, and rice. The event raised money for the United Way through the Lots of Giving Hands campaign. The United Way of Central New York seeks to strengthen community ties.
And with underway, health officials say it's important to get your flu shot. Health Services is offering free flu shots every Monday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you've got some time to stop by, use the SU ambulance entrance and bring your SU ID. And in the past 9 years, international student enrollment has more than doubled. Almost 20% of all SU students are from out of the country, and most of them are from China. Most students from other countries say they enjoy being at SU, but that there's still a gap between American and international students. The director of the Slutzker Center for International Services says the chancellor has signaled his commitment to international education.
What the theater is moving forward by going backwards. Confused? Well, that's the goal of their next play. The words are backwards, the plot is backwards, and the roles are also backwards. The play Slas Rever Neves, isn't that a handful for an anchor to say, shows the reversals is a series of 7 vignettes, each with a backward storyline. The play runs tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday at 7:30 in HBC. And well, registration started earlier this week for many SU students. Citrus TV's Alex Resnick tells us more.
With registration for the spring semester starting this week, students are searching and buzzing about classes to take. Some students only need to register for required classes.
I'm feeling pretty confident going into registration. As a second semester senior, I think that all the classes that I am going to be taking, I have to take for my major, so hopefully there's no conflicts.
But for others, the registration process comes with negative connotations.
Registration is extremely difficult for students when they have 500 other things going on and they can't schedule classes because 2 classes overlap.
Overlapping classes is a large issue with registration here at SU, and there are plenty of alternatives according to Arts and Sciences Associate Dean Candace Salamone.
We have an amazing amount of choice at Syracuse, and the downside of that is that classes often, they often bang up against each other. There's no other way to describe it. And so I think that that's a negative consequence of something that's really positive, unfortunately.
Normally, registration is the same process year after year, but not this time.
There's a blackout, so you can register up into such and such date in December, and then there's a blackout, right? And then you can't register again until January. Well, you can register now until the ad week ends.
Okay.
And I don't think students really know about that. I didn't know about it until a couple of weeks ago.
Registration is completely open until after the new semester starts. Make sure to contact your home college or advising and academic support for all your registration needs. Alex Resnick, Citrus TV News.
When we come back, what security changes are coming to Hancock Airport?
And Russia could soon have bombers close to U.S. territory. We'll have the details after this.
Well, it's the first snowfall of the season today for Cuse. I'll let you know if it's going to stay nice and fluffy, collect on the ground, or is it going to turn to sleet? Coming up on Citrus TV News, live at 6.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're gonna be hanging out a little bit more.
Hey, my name's Katie and I'm in the 9th grade. I'm an A average student and I'm an athlete working towards a scholarship. And everybody tells me how much potential I have. But I just wish someone would tell me where my next meal is coming from. Katie, how'd I do?
Do you have to be so serious?
Well, I mean, I did like a crazy dance in a movie if you want me to do a little, no.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Today, about 1 in 5 Americans is living with a disability. Over 50 million people, including many of our friends and neighbors, teachers and co-workers, heroes and leaders. 20 years ago, the Americans with Disabilities Act guaranteed every person the right to live, work, and participate fully in the American experience. We've come a long way since then, and we are committed to making even more progress in the years ahead. Visit disability.gov to see how you can help.
Back, there's a new tech edition at Destiny USA. Microsoft has its grand opening at the mall earlier today with a ribbon-cutting ceremony and the presentation of $1 million in grants to various Syracuse organizations. Before this store's opening, the closest Microsoft store was in Buffalo. And Syracuse Hancock International Airport has added technology to improve its security screening. Citrus TV reporter Jonathan Owens has more on the story.
Syracuse Hancock International Airport has always had plans to improve its security process by adding full-body scanners to its TSA screening. However, it was only until now, with construction being mostly completed, that the configuration of the airport would allow the technology, according to Christina Callahan, the executive director of the Syracuse Airport Authority.
It was always in the plan to bring in an AIT machine. However, the earlier configuration of the checkpoint prior to construction just wouldn't accommodate the equipment.
In order for the airport to obtain a scanner, there is a process it must complete.
Well, the technology is acquired by TSA, so they have to go through their procurement policy and process, and they were able to acquire the machine. There was some infrastructure work that needed to be done. That was done, and now the machine is in place.
One of the main factors of security is timing, and the new scanner will make security move faster. However, it will also make the security process easier for some passengers.
The AIT machine is used really as a way to prevent what would happen in the past when people with medical devices and other implants would walk through the metal detector. It would trigger an alarm, thus requiring a full pat-down.
Some passengers are against the full-body scanners because they believe it is too revealing. However, according to Callahan, passengers have an alternative.
People always have the option to opt out of going through the AIT machine, and they can go through traditional screening, which would include a pat-down.
The airport says they will add an additional full-body scanner barring any setbacks with the current one. Jonathan Owens, CitrusTV News.
Well, if you've been filling up your gas tank, you might have noticed how low gas prices have been recently. Something we're all wondering about is what exactly is going on. So talking correspondent Molly Smith is here to discuss it with us. So Molly, you say it's not just a trend.
That's right, Hunter. The Energy Department came out just yesterday projecting that next year's gas prices on average below $2.94 a gallon. That's on average about 44 cents less from this year. So we're going to be seeing extremely low gas prices compared to what we're used to, and all of this ties into really domestic U.S. oil production. The U.S. oil companies have been producing at an incredibly larger capacity, but the thing is, not as many people are demanding this oil. A lot of people have been changing their driving habits, going greener, purchasing more eco-friendly cars that run electric or hybrid, and the demand's just not there, so the prices are falling.
So how does this lower prices at the pumps, how does it all tie into the overall U.S. economy?
Well, it actually benefits consumers a lot. In the U.S. economy, we're really consumer-driven, so consumer spending makes up for about 70% of our economy. So if we're seeing lower prices at the pump, that frees up spending, then that income can then be spent elsewhere and provide a lot of stimulus for the economy. So should be a good sign, but at some point they will have to come back up in order so that we won't see such a rapid growth that can't be controlled.
Well, Molly, it's a good sign for both our wallets, so we will have to see where it goes from here. Molly Smith, thank you for joining us.
Thanks.
The president could be taking action on immigration reform as early as next week. According to reports, Obama will expand his Deferred Action Program, which could stop millions of deportations. The 2012 plan applies to undocumented immigrants who came to the U.S. as children and undocumented parents of U.S. citizens. Some members of Congress have warned the president against taking any unilateral action.
Well, Russia is once again flexing its military muscle. The Russian Defense Ministry announced they will be sending long-range bombers to patrol from the Arctic to the Gulf of Mexico. This follows allegations from NATO and Ukrainian authorities of Russia sending tanks into western Ukraine. The move has many worried as it will bring Russian forces very close to U.S. territory.
The rover that successfully landed on a comet yesterday has released the first pictures of its new home. The Rosetta mission was launched in 2004 to study the surface and origins of comets. The rover might be in trouble in the future as it landed in the shadow of a cliff and will only be getting just over an hour of sunlight per day to power it, instead of the expected 6 to 7 hours. And President Obama and other leaders in Myanmar for the ASEAN conference were pleased by the display of ethnic minorities upon their arrival. But according to NBC, the show was just that, a show. Reports say that none of the women in costume were actually members of the groups they represented. Myanmar is one of the most isolated countries in the world, but has been making strides to open themselves up to democracy in recent years.
Well, if you've stepped outside, you'll know that snowfall is everywhere today. Let's check in with our weather anchor, Jessica Mendelson, to see if it will continue. Jessica?
Thanks, Hunter. Well, it certainly is going to continue, but let's start with what we saw today. 35 degrees was our high, believe it or not, but with the wind chill, it felt about 27, and we saw that snow starting the middle of the day, and it lasted until now. It's still going on. If we look at the current dew point, Syracuse is at 29, so that's right about where our air temperature is, and that's why we're seeing the snow. And then looking into current temperatures, 34 is a little bit higher than where we are, but we're sitting in that cooler temperature because of the wind that we have going on. As you can see, along the coastline, it is warmer, and that typically happens for the towns that are closer to the water line. And moving into the current surface map, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of snow going on, but we have a high pressure zone that we're right on the edge of. And when you are on the edge of a high pressure zone in the winter, that's when you start to see frost. So it's going to get very chilly tonight. Speaking of tonight, looking into the precipitation forecast for the next 48 hours, we're going to see about 2 to 4 inches of snow. So get ready for that snow to keep on going. And looking into your 5-day forecast today, 39, 29 tonight, 34 tomorrow, and it's going to snow all day, 30 in the evening, 40 on Saturday, your only day for this weekend that looks like fall. Sunday, we're going to see more snow at 42, 32 at night, and then Monday, you're going to see a rain-snow mix for sleet.
All right, Jessica, walking on campus today, I heard a lot of students griping about that snow. This first snow we've gotten blowing in their face, people are not happy about it. How long is it going to last this evening?
It's going to last probably until tomorrow evening. You can expect it to be 80% tonight and probably 70 to 60% tomorrow during the morning and into the afternoon.
Not good news for this southern man, I'm telling you something. But Jessica, thank you.
And after the break, high schoolers may no longer have to stress out about the SAT and ACTs.
Oh, wow, and college loans are on the rise. We'll be right back.
Viking,
Red state, blue state, vegan,
carnivore. We come from different places.
uptown, downtown,
Night owl.
Early bird. We come to different conclusions.
half empty,
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities,
Live.
our families,
United.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Hey, I'm Anderson Cooper. As a parent, you want to make sure that your child knows how to deal with bullying when they see it happening. And chances are they want to help, but they don't really know how. Well, teach them that the best thing to do is calmly walk away, find a teacher or other adult, and speak up. And do your part. Be that adult they can talk to and trust will listen. Join me to help stop bullying. Go to stopbullying.gov to find out more.
In the most recent Ebola update, there's some good and some bad news. Over 5,000 people have died out of the 14,000 infected worldwide. However, Ebola transmission is no longer on the rise in Guinea and Liberia. But funding still remains an issue. The World Health Organization has only received about half of the money it says it needs to control the outbreak. And, well, moderate drinking is healthy for you, right? Well, only for about 15% of the population. That's according to a new study from a Swedish university. The study showed that only people with a certain genotype benefit from moderate alcohol consumption. This is the second study showing the link between alcohol, the genotype, and cardiac health. And are you interested in, are you stressed out, I'm sorry? Well, if you are, we'll pet a kitty. Here's how. Well, not here's how. Rather, here's a new therapy session for you to try. Kitten therapy was created by Soul Pancake as an effective way to relax and release stress. How can you be sad after petting such a cute kitty?
Now, college loans have been a nationwide problem for many years now. For the class of 2013, 7 out of 10 students graduated with some form of educational debt. Even more, New Mexico is the only state where students average less than $20,000 in debt. In New Mexico, some universities even offer free tuition, including my hometown of Las Cruces, New Mexico. The dreaded SATs and ACTs are finally losing relevance as more schools are becoming test optional and test flexible. Fair Test Public Education Director Bob Schaefer says that when colleges go test optional, doors open for more students to attend the university. SU Admissions has declined to comment on whether it would consider becoming test optional. And Kim Kardashian bears it all in her new photo shoot with Paper Mag. In an effort to break the internet, Paper Mag is running a photo spread showing off Kim's world-renowned assets. One photo is of Kim balancing a champagne glass on her bottom, one of her many talents.
Basketball is back, and that means big hair and big air. We'll be back in 90 with sports.
We are different. Society should aspire to be more like us.
Be part of the first class. Get energized. Get outside.
Hold on, guys. It's gonna get bumpy.
And get moving. Experience the power of physical activity. Join the movement at ActionHeroAlliance.com.
The SU basketball team has finished up its preseason matches. After 2 easier wins, the players and coaches seem ready to get the season underway. The Orange are currently ranked 23rd in the nation, and freshman point guard Caleb Joseph is ready to help the team start their chase for a national title. The first game of the season will be tomorrow night against Kennesaw State.
Those games definitely helped me be prepared for what's to come. Just getting out there, getting the team involved, I think I'm definitely a lot more comfortable out there now.
Personally, I'm really excited. I've been looking forward to this for a couple weeks now, and I think our team is ready, and I'm looking forward for a great season.
It's not going in saying I'm going to try to get 11 assists or X amount of points and just taking what the defense gives me and just reacting to what's going on out there. I think that's what will help me next game.
The Syracuse men's soccer team has had its best season in program history. With the ACC title game just around the corner, the team got more good news today as head coach Ian McIntyre was named ACC Coach of the Year, and junior goalkeeper Alex Bono was named ACC Defensive Player of the Year. Bono had a career-high 67 saves and only allowed 7 total goals this season. In the preseason, the Orange were chosen to finish last in the Atlantic Division, but ended up with the best record in all of D1 sports. Their next game is tomorrow night against Louisville. Moving back to the gridiron, the NFL gets started up tonight with the Bills headed down to South Beach to take on the Dolphins. With both teams sitting at 5-4, it's a big chance for Doug Marrone and company to win a division game and move into sole possession of second place in the AFC East behind the Patriots. Kickoff is at 8:25 tonight. Baseball has announced who its best pitchers are. Last night, Clayton Kershaw and Corey Kluber were named the Cy Young Award winners for this season. For the 26-year-old Kershaw, this is his 3rd Cy Young in the last 4 years, and Kluber becomes just the 4th Indian to ever win the award, joining CC Sabathia, Cliff Lee, and Gaylord Perry. The Knicks are sitting at 2-7 right now. It's been a bit of a rough start to the new year for Knicks head coach Derek Fisher. They took on the Orlando Magic last night. Let's roll the tape. We're going to get this one started in the 4th quarter. Shumpert's going to get the ball, and You missed it, but it was a big dunk right there. Carmelo Anthony with the 18-footer pulling up good. The SU alone would have 27, but it would not be enough because the Magic would be making the big shots late in the game, and that's how you win it. Melo would pull up for a huge three here to pull him within one, but as I said, not enough. J.R. Smith gets the decision for the last shot, and they would end up losing by one. A lot of questions going on as to what's wrong with the Knicks right now. Coach, players, something's not quite clicking. We'll have to see as time goes on. And I just wanted to say, guys, as a first-time sports anchor here at Citrus, it has been an absolute pleasure working with both of you guys. And I just had to get it, Hunter. Can I get a hug? Can I get a hug, man? Attaboy. And I'll give you a
I'm too far away, so that's all right.
It's a pleasure working with you guys this semester, and I wish you all the best.
Oh, it was great having you right here. Let me tell you about it. You, Skaggs, anybody who comes and sits next to us, always welcome, always a good job. Count on you. Thank you so much for sports. After the break, one last look at your local weather.
And our own Jess Mendelson does her best Al Roker impression. Don't go away.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Well, if you haven't seen it, you should definitely take a look. Al Roker is now in his 20th hour of his attempt to have the longest continuous weather forecast. The record attempt is raising money for several charity organizations, and he may have some competition.
That's right, Hunter. Our very own Jess Mendelson is now starting her own attempt to set the record. Let's check in and see how she's doing. Jess?
Thanks, guys. I'm going to start with the wake-up weather right now. I'm going to let you know tomorrow it's going to be about 32 degrees. Precipitation is going to be about 45 to 50%, and it's going to be snow. So make sure when you're outside, you're going to have your hat, you have your scarves, gloves, everything bundle up because it's finally getting into winter here. Now, it's been a long start getting ready for this whole marathon, so I'm going to throw it back to you guys, and I'll keep on telling you what the weather is going to be.
All right, thanks, Jess. Both Jess and Roker will need to be on air for 34 hours uninterrupted to set the new record. We, of course, wish them both good luck.
Yeah, but Jess is doing great there. I've got faith in her.
Yeah, I won't be sticking around. My beauty sleep is a little bit too important to me. But that's all for Citrus TV News Live at 6. I'm Hunter Saenz.
And I'm Anna Giles. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.